Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Pagano. I'm an advisor for Hera, the Light of Women. I'm also the founder of Hera Media Group. And I'm going to be talking to these lovely ladies who are making a huge impact on education. And you're going to love their story. You're going to love their story. So before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. And I apologize that I have to read this because there's a lot here and I want to make sure that I share your stories. So Jayme Ward, Jayme is in Denver, Colorado. She's a native who co-founded Faraway Friends with Collines after meeting in 2011 at the age of 18. She holds a BA in International Studies with a focus on sub-Saharan, I'm sorry, I can't talk today, Africa from the University of Colorado. As a kid, Jayme grew up in a hardworking family who did not have the resources to give to charity, but dreamed of leveraging the privileges she was given to make an impact on the lives of kids around the world who are experiencing extreme poverty. Jayme is deeply passionate about education equity, teaching young people about do no harm development and the movement to end white saviorism, see, like I can't talk, I'm a tongue twister here today, in the nonprofit industry. She loves learning about new strategies and international development, traveling, and being a dog mom. So welcome, Jayme.
Thank you so much, Mary.
We also have Collines Angwech. Collines is a Ugandan native who grew up in rural Namasale, Amolatar District. After losing her father at the age of 12 during the height of the LRA War in Northern Uganda, Collines was responsible as the eldest of 6 children to help raise her siblings and keep them all in school while night commuting to stay safe from abduction by the LRA. As a child, Collines dreamed of building a school in her home village where she could help children like her access the same quality education available to kids in urban areas. In 2009, she received a scholarship from the NGO Invisible Children to attend university and travel the US. Speaking to young people about the plight of children affected by war in Central and East Africa. She received her BA in International Development from Gulu University and represents less than 1% of women in her home village who achieved a college degree. Collines lives in Lira, Uganda with her family. Welcome, Collines.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Oh, I'm so impressed with you ladies. I can't even begin. And I'm anxious for everybody to hear your story and what you're up to. And as you know, Hera is an organization that's focused on the empowerment of humanity. And we are building a smart green city for the future of humanity, for all genders, all religions, all nationalities, and in honor of the women. So we feel very strongly that it's the women who can do a really good job in taking care of humanity and the planet. And you guys have a great story to tell. So I have a few questions for both of you, and I'll just kind of go back and forth if you're okay with that. And I'll start with Jayme. I'll start with you.
Cool.
How did meeting Collines impact your life?
Oh man, Mary, that's a big question. So I met Collines when I was like a kid. I was 17. I was one of those kids in school that didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, right? Like everybody was going off to college and had this big plan for their life and what they were going to do. And I was kind of stuck. Like I didn't know. I didn't do sports. I wasn't involved in drama or plays, so I felt a little bit behind, right? And I had the opportunity to meet Collines, who was coming to my school to talk about the plight of child soldiers in Northern Uganda, who were affected by the LRA War. And I had, until that time, never even been able to place Uganda on a map. I couldn't tell you where it was in the world. And the first time I met Collins, I don't know, something like clicked in my world. And I was like, how am I 17 and I don't know about these issues? And here's somebody who's so incredible standing in front of me and has walked through the unimaginable to be so successful in her life and be a mentor for other women. And so I looked at her and I was like, I want to be you. How do I be you? She was like 5 years older than me at the time and like just so cool. And she shared with me her dream for building a school in her home community and making a difference for kids and especially girls in that community. And I was like, you know what, I'm in. Like, I don't know how to help. I'm a kid. I have no money, no power, no privilege, but whatever I can do to help you see that dream through, like I am on board. And it was kind of from there that we decided to start this organization and make it real. And that was, you know, what seems like ancient history now. And now our school is up and running, making an impact, and look forward to the future.
Wow. So you both are co-founders of Faraway Friends. I forgot to include that in your bio. So we'll put at the end the address that people can reach out to you. Collins, let me ask you a question. How did Faraway Friends get started?
Oh, well, Mary, like Jayme said, meeting Jayme was the birth of Faraway Friends, because when Jayme and I met in her high school, I was touring with Invisible Children, of course, like she said, telling the story of the child soldiers and the LRA War in Northern Uganda, Central and Congo. And so Jayme wasn't actually supposed to come to school that day because she was sick. And so if she Faraway Friends would never be here. So thank God she came that day. So when we met, we talked at length about who we are. I told her about my story and where I come from and my dreams. And Jayme told me about her childhood, her home. And it was crazy because we were both from different parts of the world, but had so many similar, you know, personalities. Like Jayme's dreams were crazy. You know, she cared about women empowerment. She cared about just serving humanity. And when I told her about how I grew up and the dream for the children in my village, and my dream to empower them and give them an opportunity like I was given, you know, just moved her. And from that day, we kept talking until we reached an agreement that we were going to start an organization, an NGO, young as we were. I don't know, I used to call Jayme all the time on the phone, and I didn't know it would, you know, it was charging her for me to call her from Uganda. I thought, okay, let me call Jayme and chat. And I would be in the garden and I call her, we talk for 2 hours and it's $400. And I'm like, she's like, Colin, you know, last time we talked, I was charged $400. And I'm like, wait, what? So that's how our friendship led to birth of an organization that now does not only take care of, you know, our friendship, but hundreds and thousands of children and communities that believe in us, that, you know, have hope of a better future because the two of us met and we decided to take action.
This is brilliant. I love this. It's like serendipitous, like the universe, you know, made sure that it happened. But you're both like two sisters who from faraway lands met. So I just really love how you guys got connected. I think that's just absolutely brilliant. So Jayme, what is Faraway Friends different from other organizations? How is it different from other organizations?
Yeah. So, you know, really early on, Collins and I decided we wanted to set our organization apart and make it very clear that all of our programs and the direction of the organization is really decided by Collins and her team. It's her family, it's her community, it's her people that know best what they need for their own community. What part myself and my friends in my community here play is that friendship piece and that investment piece. And if you can tell us the vision, we can share that vision with our friends and community and family here and leverage the privileges that we have as Westerners to redistribute wealth in ways that really make an impact in these rural communities. So we are truly an organization that is led entirely by really strong Ugandan women, from Collins to her mom, who's the head administrator at our school, to, you know, her colleague Rita, who's on the ground every day communicating with the community and the kids at our school. And I get to be the lucky person who is telling the story here. We're really passionate about breaking down systems of white saviorism in the nonprofit industry and showing people a better way to do it and calling people in instead of calling them out and saying, hey, there's actually a better way to work with communities abroad as Westerners that center the community members and center the local leaders who are so incredible and already doing the great work there. It doesn't take Westerners to fly over and make a difference. There are incredible people locally who just need a platform, need to be seen and heard and invested in. So that's what makes us different.
Wow, love that, love that. So Collins, why was a focus on primary education so important to you?
Yeah, so the reason why Faraway Friends focused on primary education is because going back to the community that we serve, we didn't have any quality education system. All the schools that are in that area did not really meet the level of competition with the rest of the country. Amolatar is a very rural area, and most of our children walk, 5 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours to school, to the nearest school. And most of them struggle a lot with, coping with the challenges that they're faced with every day. And so when we, as Collins, I first left my village and went into another, village town to acquire education and saw the difference in the quality of education, I thought, what happened to my village? Why don't we have this kind of quality in my area? Why don't the children in my area access quality of education like this and compete at the national level? And so I thought, when I grow up and I have an opportunity to do something, I want the children in our village to be able to see the kind of quality education I saw when I first left my village. And so that was one of the reasons why we started with primary education, but it's also the pillar because we want every child to have an opportunity to a great foundation. And primary education is the foundation of education in Uganda. Most of the children may not access kindergarten, but if they have a strong foundation in primary education, they are most likely to make it to the next level. And the kind of quality that we are setting up and using as a model to guide the other schools in the district should be able to encourage our children to thrive and dream and empower them to know that they can become whoever they want to become or upgrade to any level of education after primary school.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I guess if you can read and write, then you can take on many books and go from there. So that you're totally right. Jayme, can you tell us about Faraway Friends' New Schools for Schools program?
Yes, I would be psyched about it. So as Collins was saying, she mentioned that, we're working to have a model school in the school that we built, Global Leaders Primary School, which offers education from baby class of preschool all the way to 7th grade. But we don't only want to be just this model school and say, here's how it should be done, or here's how it can be done in a rural community. We really wanted to uplift the entire district as a whole. Our mission is to equip every student with the tools they need to break cycles of poverty forever. And if we plan to do that, it's going to take a network of schools, of local leaders, of teachers and parents, all of us together, uplifting the quality of education here for all kids. So we decided to launch a program called Schools for Schools. This is brand new as of this year, where we're actually choosing partner schools in Amolatar District who have an opportunity to, really grow and impact students in a big way, but maybe are just lacking that investment piece or the funding to do so. And so we're actually pairing them with schools here in the US and in the UK, high schools, so that high school students in the West are connecting with high school students or elementary school students in Uganda and learning really organically from each other about global development and about what is your life like and who are you as a person and what is your dreams for your school and your village and how can my school and my community play a part in helping you and your school achieve those goals. So right now we have about 6 partner schools in the US here, from Florida to Colorado to California to Texas, and we're partnering them with schools in Collins' community, and as of the end of this month we'll start a pen pal program and start getting those kids communicating and working together on development projects in the next year.
Global friends, I like that. I think that's brilliant. I'm getting chills. Collins, can you share about what life is like for girls in your district in Uganda?
Yeah. So being a girl, most especially in a rural community of Uganda, it's beautiful, first of all, but also very challenging. It's beautiful in a way that you have a lot of opportunity to lead, because first you're looked at as a mom. Every girl, when you're a girl, you're a mother, because you have to take care of everybody in the family. Like being a firstborn daughter, girl in my family, I became a mom at an age of 12. I was already making sure that my siblings have what to eat. I have to come back from school earlier than them. I escaped from school so that I can come and cook food for them to come back and eat. And so you have to take leadership position at a very young age. You're fetching water, you're making decisions on your own as a girl. But it's also very challenging in that way because, so many, you're set aside, you're pushed aside to take care of family. You're more looked at as, a family material than, an independent person that has a future and could have a career. And so your work is to take care of the children. Your work is to go and fetch water. Your work is to go and fetch firewood. Your work is to, you actually are sacrificed. If you have boy children in your home, you're sacrificed to let the boys go to school and you stay home. Yeah. And a lot of times, most girls and most rural parents push their girls into early marriages so that their bride price is used to pay the boys into school. And so it's very hard, most especially if you know what you want, if you know you want to be better, you want to be different, you don't have a voice. Even your mother has very limited voice in who you become, because they're also regarded the same. The mother's work is to work hard and take care of the children, while the fathers make decisions on what happens in the family. And so being a girl in my community can be very, very challenging, but we've also seen the power of girls in my community. For example, if you educate a girl like me, I stand out for every girl in my community, and everyone is like, oh, see, Collins is able to drive, she's able to start an organization. We care about our community, that we come back to help the community. And I think now, because of that, we are starting to turn, that belief around. Most parents are now wanting their daughters to be like, like Collins, like, the educated girls. And so we are starting to change things and show families that, a girl doesn't always have to solve family problems by sacrificing her, but could be a great contribution to the growth of the family.
Absolutely. You're singing music to Hera's ears, because that's what we're about, right? We firmly believe that women are 51% of the global population, but we're underrepresented in leadership positions. I think hence COVID wouldn't be here if we had more female leaders around the world. And I do agree, you empower a girl, a woman, you empower the community. And women just have that innate EQ ability to take care of family, kids, community, and the planet. And so hence that is why Hera is here. We want to help raise that awareness around the world. So bravo to you, Collines. Jayme, what new projects is the organization currently working on?
Yeah, so in partnership with the Schools for Schools program that I had mentioned earlier, and staying kind of on the same topic as Collins was mentioning about girls empowerment, something we're really excited about launching later this year in partnership with Schools for Schools is the Skills for Life curriculum that we're building right now. Through the partner schools that we're choosing in Amolatar and Collins's community, we're going to be partnering with the schools to deliver this Skills for Life curriculum that is really directed towards girls and women, but boys are also getting to be a part of. Through this curriculum, we'll be educating kids on things like boundary setting, on healthy relationships, on understanding adolescence and how to communicate with assertiveness, how to become a leader, the things that maybe aren't taught in the classroom or from a textbook, but are still vital to kids becoming leaders and breaking cycles of poverty. So we're really excited. We're just kind of in the early stages now of working with some consultants in Uganda to develop this curriculum, make it very culturally sensitive, but also very modern and challenging for some of these kids who might have never considered concepts of boundary setting and how important that is in your day-to-day life as a teenager. So we're really excited for that. And in that Skills for Life curriculum, we'll also be delivering AfroPads, sanitary hygiene kits to all the girls in the program. Our goal is to reach 1,500 girls this year and to be delivering to them these reusable AfroPads kits. AfroPads is an incredible Ugandan-based company who hires women to make reusable sanitary pads and put them together in a kit that includes a book that educates girls about how do you keep yourself, clean and hygienic and safe, and make sure that no girl misses a single day of school due to her period. That's kind of our goal for 2022. So we still have a little ways to go and are looking for some more investments and people who are passionate about that kind of work to partner with us, but we're really excited to launch that later this year.
Wow. Life skills. I wish they taught life skills in even in America. I mean, it's, these kids with social media, I'm always concerned about their social skills, right? And that's a make or break. I mean, it's one thing to read about history and to learn that, but really just practical life skills for survival and success, I think is so critical. So kudos to both of you ladies. Collines, how do you think, or what do you think is the most important program at Faraway Friends and why?
Okay. I think right now, the most important program at Faraway Friends is the Schools for Schools program. Of course, we started with building a model school, and I think the transition we are taking to create the network of schools that are providing the same kind of quality to the entire community is the best route we've taken. And I think it's the most important right now, because our dream is to reach thousands of children in the community through the different schools that are already in existence. As global leaders, we cannot manage to cover all the children. In fact, if we do not reach out to the rest of the community, our school will be idolized and looked at as, oh, this nice school, but can only accommodate a few. But if we work with the rest of the schools within the community, we are able to, spread the light and shine together. And so I think that's the most important. And being able to collaborate the cultural difference. I mean, like the network that Jayme and I have built, coming from Uganda, meeting Jayme.
I think she went digital on us.
Yeah.
Okay, the connection. Let me come back to her. Yeah,
that's Uganda connection for you. I was telling Mary earlier, like we keep our fingers crossed, but you never know. So I'm sure she'll be back.
Yeah, and that definitely having digital connection around the world is so important for education and for living. So it is a big deal.
Yeah.
So Jayme, how can people get involved or learn more about your work?
Yeah, so right now we have a program called the Advocate Program, which is kind of our antithesis of like a sponsorship model, Mary. Like we know a lot of other organizations that do sponsorship models where, you know, you can sponsor a kid or sponsor a person. And we felt like, you know, that might be a little bit outdated or somewhat paternalistic sometimes. So we wanted to take a different approach where donors can donate $25 a month to be an advocate or a friend to an entire classroom at our school at GLP, or our partner schools as we grow. So advocates donate $25 a month to be part of this community. It helps pay our teachers, keep kids in school, make sure that they have everything they need in a classroom. And then it's not a one-to-one sponsorship model, but rather I'm an advocate or a friend or a supporter or voice for an entire classroom because I believe in the local leaders and the local teachers and what they're doing for these kids. So if somebody's interested in becoming an advocate, we are always of need of more monthly donors, of sponsors that keep our work going. You can go to our website, farawayfriends.org/advocate, and learn more about that program. And we're also looking for corporate sponsors as well. Last year, we worked with an incredible corporate sponsor called WordFence that solarized our entire school, Mary. So we are one of the very few primary schools that has full solar capacity and the opportunity to have computers in the future. So we're really looking forward to collaborating and connecting with more corporate sponsors that can help us bridge that digital divide that we were mentioning earlier. As you can see, Collins is kind of popping in and out. And we believe that kids and, you know, women in these communities deserve access to the internet and to computers, and the way that we're making connections all over the world. Kids in rural communities are just as deserving of those resources as kids in urban places. So we're trying to make that happen.
I love this. I love this. Are you guys looking to do this in other parts of Africa, or are you primarily just focused on Uganda right now?
That's a great question. So, you know, we've decided that as of right now, we're testing this model of breaking cycles of generational poverty in this one community in Amolatar, because that's where Collins is from. That's where our co-founder is from. She deeply knows the issues in this community and how they can be solved working with local leaders. So we've kind of drawn a circle around this entire district and said, once our model is proven here, that's when we believe firmly that we can take that model and scale it to other parts of Uganda or other parts of the world. But until we have another partner from another part of the world or another part of Uganda who says, hey, come to my community, or I want to invite you because I have a vision for my own community, we've decided that right now Amolatar is our focus, and we're going to prove our hypothesis here first.
Wow, that's brilliant. I am so impressed with what you guys have created. That is brilliant. There's a question I wanted to ask Collines, but I know she's had to drop off here, or internet issues. What is your vision for the future of your organization?
Sure, and that's definitely a big question for Collins, because again, this is her home community. It's her village that we're working in. But I can speak for my experience in the organization, and I think definitely our goal is to expand this network of schools and uplift the entire district as a whole, and make sure kids in this community are reaching at least high school level. I'll share with you, Mary, that in this community, we learned from local leaders that there's about 40,000 kids who are enrolled in primary schools, whether that's government schools or private schools like ours. But unfortunately, that number drops when they take their 7th grade exam, which qualifies them to get into high school. That drops from 40,000 kids enrolled to about 3,500 district-wide, which is like, how are we losing 30,000 kids, in this, or 25,000 kids in this community who are either getting married early, who are dropping out of school early, and are not continuing on. And so when we said earlier, Collins is representing less than 1% of women in her home community who make it to college, that's because so many kids aren't even making it to high school. So I think, truly our vision is to put numbers on every single school in this district. I believe there's 64 schools. And in the next 10 years, we want Faraway Friends to be partnering with all of those schools and connecting them with a school in the United States or in the UK to create those friendships, create those collaborations like between myself and Collins that totally changed my life. I can say for sure that for kids in the US, we are offering something transformational where before you're even graduating, you're learning about do no harm development, on how to break cycles of white saviorism that you're seeing in this industry. And before you go out or take a gap year, you're really thinking critically about what did I learn from faraway friends and how can I make an impact in partnership with a local leader or somebody who deeply knows more than I ever will what's needed in this community. So through the Schools for Schools program we're launching, Mary, I'm very, very confident that in the next 10 years, we're going to reach all 64 schools and impact every kid in this community and make sure they all make it to high school, and that 50% or 100% of women in this community make it to college.
Oh gosh, that just brings, tears of joy to me. I think that's just awesome and brilliant. I'm so excited. I'm so proud for you ladies for what you've accomplished here, what you're creating. So Hera is behind you if you need anything from us. I noticed, I saw your book that Genevieve Patton wrote, Lioness Heart, in your bookshelf. She's one of our ambassadors and she's a sweetheart. We're glad to have her on the team. And so I'm very excited for what you ladies are up to. I'm sad that Colleen's internet connection upset this interview just a little bit, but she's a gem. And I'm really impressed with how you guys have managed to, it's one thing for organizations to come in and tell people what to do, but you're actually working collectively together for what the community actually needs, because sometimes people like to push ideas that they think are great, but they're not necessarily the right thing for the environment. So I'm very glad to hear what you guys are doing together. So that's just brilliant.
Thank you so much, Mary. And we're so inspired by you guys and what you're doing at Hera, Genevieve included in that community. You guys are doing some great work forwarding the stories of women like us. I had mentioned to you earlier that one of our biggest challenges is platforms and is getting our story out. That's been kind of difficult for us as a grassroots organization. So collaborating with other women like yourself that invited us so readily and said, hey, I have a platform, let me get you in front of more women who can help you make a difference. That is truly priceless for us. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the whole point of Hera, is uniting the women around the world, because they're all doing great works everywhere. So thank you for being on today. So this is Mary Pagano with Hera Media Group. I want to thank both Jayme and Collins for joining us today. If you have the opportunity to donate to their organization at Faraway Friends, I will have their information and bios described below. So thank you for joining us today. Jayme, thank you. Collins, thank you. And we will see you again.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Okay.